Hello, my lovelies, Justice Warriors, Justice League. What's happening? It's Tuesday. It's the 17th of October. It's just after 11:30 and I'm coming on my live. Please share, subscribe, turn on your notification bell if you feel so moved. Just covering these things first since I've been forgetting lately. And hit your like button if you feel like it. Um, Everything I say is simply my opinion. It's simply for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion and to be educational as well as to gain my own education. So I don't see anybody here in my chat yet, and I feel so all alone, Bex. Thank you. I was just starting to cry. No, just kidding. Um, I do enjoy my solitude just fine, but it's like when I come on a live, if I wanted to have solitude, I would just do a pre-recorded. So, Mark Molina and Raised from Perdition twice. Pixie Knickers, Blonde Gypsy, you guys are the sweetest. Thank you so much for being here, Susan. Oh, I'm so touched. Now the tears of loneliness turn into tears of joy. I was sad about the two actresses who died, especially Suzanne Summers. I heard about Suzanne Summers. I didn't hear about the other one. If you want to fill me in. Oh man. Um, come and knock on my door. That was such a cute show. Let me talk about two, you guys. Trigger warning if you haven't heard yet about the kid in Chicago that was murdered by a landlord, I mean, unalived, um, 6 years old. Unreal. Absolutely like the darkest dark in the world. The Dark Shadows actress. I don't know that show. Yeah, this was on National Public Radio this morning. The situation in Chicago, a landlord with the same method that was used in the Idaho 4, you guys, a 6-year-old boy, because of the tensions with the war, allegedly, like being on either side of that. Just the most disgusting and heartbreaking crap in the world. Yeah, it doesn't get any worse than that. Like I said, trigger warning. You gotta be kidding me. Hmm. I know. I was like, can we just like give the person the electric chair without a trial, please? Like just over and done with. Unreal. Um, so here we are again, same old, same old. I have been enjoying so much building up this channel, and I'm so glad that I'm more seasoned as a person and as a professional because the crap just doesn't stop. Like yesterday, I had some really nice comments, and then on the same issues, some really negatory comments. And it reminds me of when I told you guys the other day how when I first moved to Ohio in high school, I cried every day for a year and felt like I was surrounded by cornfields and cows and a bunch of hicks, right? And then when I moved back to Ohio in '09, so 14 years ago with my husband and children, I was like basking in the glory of being surrounded by cornfields and cows. Like I'm not even exaggerating. And these are the types of things that I find so interesting because when I was 15 years old, I thought that was like I was being punished by God. I absolutely, honestly, really did. And then in my 40s, moving back, the same things that I despised and that made my skin crawl were the things that I loved and relished in the glory of. So it's interesting to me. I think all of our tastes ebb and flow. And I know some of the content creators that I like at one point in time, I won't like them at another point in time, but then I might go back to liking them again. And it's probably shifts in myself. It might be shifts in the way they're presenting things. But I just want to say that I really appreciate any and all feedback. I love reading the comments. whatever it is that you have to say it. If I can't stand it and I have to delete it, I will, but I try never to delete things. But I did delete two from the same person yesterday because they were just like being abusive. They were being abusive. And it's like, nobody's making you watch the channel. So if you don't like it, why are you torturing yourself watching it? And then why are you torturing yourself further and wasting your time commenting on it? So, wow. When you are creative, people are going to criticize you. It doesn't matter what type of creativity. If you want to be a wallflower, then maybe you won't get criticized. And sometimes I do enjoy being a wallflower, but for the most part, I'm just going to be who I am, whether that's that I feel like being a wallflower or I feel like, stepping out and going against the tide, because a lot of times I am going against the tide and I don't care. Like, you can criticize me all you want, that's fine. I'm going to be true to myself. So my temporary title for this live was UBU, just the letters, and I can tell you where that came from because it's kind of weird. And then know what you know. And that's an old saying, know what you know. Just trust yourself. Like, you don't have to know everything, but the things that you do know, embrace it. And if you don't know, that's okay. Just know the things that you know. But I also want to stay caught up with my people. Hey, Harsh one. I loved the city when I was younger, and now I like to visit, and I always look forward to coming home. Exactly. And it's like, I'm fine with, it's nice to have people appreciate what I do. I enjoy that immensely, but I honestly don't need anybody's approval. And I'm really glad that I don't need anyone's approval, because if you're dependent on people's approval, like, people are very fickle, they'll love you one minute and hate you the next, and it doesn't have anything to do with you. Like, this person who was being abusive in my comment section, that crap has nothing to do with me and the material that I present. And I can tell you what it was because it's pretty funny. And I'm trying to go more towards the comedy. She, like, she was saying, like, you say you're not a jewelry channel, you say that you're not a home decor channel, but you are. It's like, oh my goodness. Really? Okay. Like, I'm not allowed to joke around. By the way, do you like the new decor? I've got my squirrel with a mushroom in a backpack. I don't know if you can see that well enough here. I'll grab a little light to shine on it. Do you see that squirrel? It's got a giant mushroom in a backpack. Yeah, it's not mine. It's my 11-year-old's, but I borrowed it. I'd been dying to show it to you guys. Oh, now I'm gonna knock everything down. And then, I forgot my mouse yesterday, but had the pumpkin. Oh, and I've been forgetting my haunted house because, I gotta be, like, theme oriented for the holidays, right? Anyway, because I am a home decor true crime channel. And check out the jewelry. I kinda made the earrings, I kinda made the necklace, and when I say kind of, I mean, like, more assembling stuff. Like, I didn't punch out the stars in the metal piece, and I didn't, wrap the wire around these cool crystals, but I did, do the wire S shapes above. Can you see that? And I know we're not a jewelry channel, but just in case we are, just in case you were coming to see the jewelry, are those jellyfish behind you, Mark Molina? I thought you'd never ask. They are. It's a cool tapestry that I bought that was called, like, the Jellyfish Universe or something like that. So it kind of looks like outer space, kind of looks, or does look like jellyfish. It depends on what part of it you're looking at. And yeah, Shan was the only other person who noticed the jellyfish that said something. So I'm here because I love justice. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I love you back. Love you more. You know who said that? I think Shanann Watts would say that. Love you more. Um, and yeah, all of these cases, they form my channel. They form my own understanding of my own trauma. Um, you know, like, people thought with Chris Watts, like, oh, how could he do that? He was so nurturing. Well, yeah, he was crazy. Like, there's your answer right there. Like, trying to figure out the reasons behind these crazy things, you're never going to figure it out. Idaho 4, perfect example. Kylie Rodney, perfect example. It's never going to make sense because it doesn't make sense to hurt other people. It simply doesn't make sense. Um, People do it for greed, people do it for jealousy, people do it for a lot of reasons. Um, let's see. What did you make a mess of, Mark Molina? They do look like jellyfish. Yeah, I'm not like a big jellyfish fan, but when I saw the tapestry, I just was like, that's cool, interesting. And I thought I would like hide the jellyfish part of it so you would just see like the outer space looking parts of it. But yeah, I like the jellyfish too because it has like the dome shape, so that's kind of neat. Anyway, I learned long ago people will be ugly and act like that, your background. So if they don't like your YouTube channel, they can go on. Also, you can, like, when I don't like what I'm looking at on the screen, I just make sure that I'm busy doing other stuff so I'm not looking if I just want to listen. And I know sometimes people do that because they have to, but also, if you think the jellyfish are annoying or you hate the Statue of Liberty or you don't like cool colors and tiny little rodents, then you don't have to look if you like what I'm saying. And if you don't like what I'm saying, then that's fine too, because I'm going to do what I feel like is right for me. I love pleasing other people, but that's not what I aspire to be. I aspire to be true to myself and true to my dog, right, Mark? Um, and if other people like it, that makes it very warm and fuzzy. It's really nice to have the company. If other people don't like it, then that's fine because I've learned in my life for decades that I do know what I know. And many times I'll win people over when I'm not even trying because I'm fine with not seeing eye to eye on things. Um, it's no sweat off my back. I don't need to gain anyone's approval. I don't feel like anybody needs to gain my approval. We all need to do what we need to do. So thanks for listening to my TED Talk. Okay. Um, and Chris Watts was weak and led by NK, in my opinion. And I'm so glad that the videos about that case don't stop because I think that there was an extreme miscarriage of justice in the Watts case and that there's no statute of limitations on being a co-conspirator or um, there's no statute of limitations on unaliving another person. And people that hurt our dear Ms. Kylie Rodney should be very afraid for that because 1 year isn't going to save their heinies. 10 years is not going to save their heinies. 50 years won't save their heinies. I mean, it is what it is. And they know what they did. And God knows what they did. And Kylie knows what they did. And eventually it'll come out, in my opinion. Cooking scrambled eggs and got messy. Oh, that sounds good and healthy, though. I had a yogurt this morning, so hopefully my tummy won't be rumbling for my people here. I think it's cool and it's nice to see you change it, keep it interesting, in my opinion. Right, like Shan says, it's like I spy with my little eye. I'm really into this haunted house. So that's way cool. It's made of wood and it's beautiful. But I'm also into my daughter's squirrel. I think I bought it for her. I don't know. She buys a lot of stuffed animals. I buy her stuffed animals. She's got an awesome stuffed animal collection. And the things aren't cheap, are they? Silly. I'm always like, "You don't need more stuffed animals," and I'm like, "Wait, you might need this one." So, I mean, the backpack and the mushroom, you definitely need that one. Um, TED Talk time, love or justice. Okay, so let's get on with the show. Let me take a drink of water because I've been talking so much already. And I've got my super cute Michigan cup mug. And let's see. This morning, I've been trying to catch up on Shan's most recent live from last night. And man, was it a wild one. You were probably there, Mark. I was there for a minute right before I fell asleep. I said hi, and I think I said, I'm going to be dozing off or something. But I fell asleep really quickly last night, which meant that I woke up at 4 this morning. So I've had a very productive day already, and um, yeah, I was there till 10. I think I was maybe there till not too long before that, um, but right around there. And I'm glad you like the background stuff, CB. I love it. I mean, I don't have to have it. I could just, have nothing, have a brick wall, have just the tapestry, just be in my living room, be in the outdoors, be whatever, be in a black box. I could do the thing with the little circle, but I like you guys to see me. I feel like there's something to that human connection. I know I like to watch people that are actually the people, and a lot of people just use those little circle things and the icons, and then also, there's a lot of content creators that will show you documents and show you videos and show you pictures. And I love all that. I wish that I could do that, but I don't know how. And I figure that I might as well just go with what I do know because I've got so much to talk about. So let me get started on my notes here. Um, when I know what it is that I like, other people may or may not like it, but for me, it's good. And I have learned that when I've tried to bend things to please other people, it's very disappointing. Like it's just as simple as when I was a jewelry designer and I had a woman that wanted me to make her a special custom set of earrings and a necklace for her wedding. And I was flattered and happy to do that, but she would not listen to me. She wanted to tell me what she wanted. And now that I'm older, I would say, look, this is the way I would do it. And if you don't like that, you can find another jewelry designer. But she argued with me and I bent to her thing very reluctantly. I was pretty stern about it. I was like, really, that's not going to look right. But I made it the way she wanted it, and she didn't like it. She literally sent it back to me and asked me to make it the way I had told her that I wanted to. And there wasn't time before her wedding. And she was so disappointed. I was like, I'm just going to have to send you your money back because I am booked up with this, that, and the other. There's no way I can do that. And she was extremely disappointed, but she just accepted the crappy thing that, I mean, it wasn't crappy. It wasn't my best work because I was doing what she wanted me to do. So I know when I'm working with creative people, I always go with their professional advice. And when I ask somebody's advice, I feel kind of obligated to take it, but not always. But in general, that's my rule of thumb. Anyway, what I wanted to tell you about the UBU is, have you guys ever done the Ouija board? Because I used to do it when I was a kid and it never seemed like it did anything, right? Except you and your friends would like move it and pretend that you weren't. There was one time with one friend in high school that we sat down and we did a Ouija board together. And I had a friend who passed away. So this was when I was in 10th grade. This was my first year in Ohio. Um, and she had passed away not that long after I moved here. And it took a while for me to hear about it, and it was awful. And then when I was with this other dear friend of mine who I'm still friends with, and uh, we were at her boyfriend's house, and we pulled out the Ouija board and we put our hands on it, and that little thing raced to the letter U, the letter B, and the letter U, and then it did nothing else. And we had tried to ask my friend, her name was Jamie, who passed away, to come and, share something with us. And it was kind of like she was mad how fast it moved, and it just went UBU, and that was it. We got nothing else, not another thing. And we both like looked at each other, and I was like, "Did you do that?" And she was like, "No, I thought you did that." And we were both just like, "Oh my goodness." I honestly don't think I've touched another Ouija board since. So UBU was a message that I feel like I got from my dear friend from the other side when we were in high school. So that's that story. I do have a lot of cool stories, but I like to try to stay focused on the cases. And I really like to stay focused with what you guys have because you guys are the bomb. And I missed a whole lot of your comments yesterday, and I apologize for that. It's so hard to find that balance of, sticking with my notes, sticking with the ideas that have come on to share with you that, like I said, I could just do it in a pre-recorded, but I would much rather interact with you. So thanks for being here, everybody. The personal tough makes it better for me, in my opinion. Let's go. The personal stuff. Um, I have to go back and replay Squirrels on Fire from last night. I got to the part of it before I had to go to sleep. Well, I thought that I got through most of it this morning, but I think I only got through about half of it. Romeo was a wild one, wasn't he? I don't know how long he stayed there, but uh, he had a lot to say. And, some of what he said I thought was great, and some of his stuff, not so much. But I guess he has his own channel. And it was cool that he came on to Squirrels and that they were just rapping about Ms. Kylie. I think one thing that they agree on, that I agree on, that probably a lot of us agree on, is we know damn well that somebody hurt Kylie, and we're pretty sure who it was. Everything I say is simply my opinion, but you guys know my opinion about it. Um, and the cover up. The cover up is the crazy part, whether that's from Kylie's family, from law enforcement, her what I call frenemies. I mean, everybody is guilty. Everybody who knows a damn thing. Like, screw them all. Like, they can all bite my rear end. And Karma's a biatch. She's got the number. 3 likes and 30 in chat. Please hit the like button. Well, thanks for the update, Harsh One. And yeah, that is always helpful. I've got my cute little like button to point to you with my pen for you guys that don't know what it looks like. This is what it looks like. So you hit that like button, costs you nothing. It does take a second of your time. So I understand. Sometimes I don't hit the like button. You have to actually like the thing to hit that like button. Um, Anyway, it's helpful for the algorithm. You guys know that. I don't mess with them boards because I had weird experience and everyone said it was my fault because it's never done that before me touching it. Wow, harsh one. That's interesting. Yeah, I never had anything happen with them really except that one time. And like I said, I don't really think I've ever touched one since. And yeah, Mark, it was cool. It was really cool. And it fit. Like I knew that that was her because not only was it moving too quickly and I was looking at my friend and watching her face and she was shocked too. Like, we were very much connected and paying close attention to the board and to each other while it was happening because we were both just it was kind of electrifying. We were like, "What?" But I also knew that that was my friend's voice. That was the kind of thing she would have said and that was the kind of attitude she would have said, like, or that she would have had. Like, she was kind of pissed, like, "What the hell are you doing messing with a Ouija board? Just be yourself and get along." That was the message, and it was a great message, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, I got it, thanks." Good story, had similar experience and haven't touched a board since. Yeah, I just wanted to share since I put that in the title, and I normally go back and revise my titles of my videos. I revise the thumbnail, I revise the description, later in the day. Just because I'm trying to make it as much what it seems like it should be as possible. And again, I trust myself. I trust myself to know. I don't like to change things, especially if it makes it harder for somebody to find the video if they already saw it and they already knew what it was titled and then they have trouble finding it. But I figure most of my viewers know my stuff and they know that I do that. Because a lot of times I just don't do a title. I just say, "Hi, it's Saturday," or whatever. And then I don't do a thumbnail either. I just have my generic one, which, in case you're wondering, it's a Georgia O'Keeffe, that beautiful, like purple and green kind of landscape with the weird lollipop trees. It's a very obscure Georgia O'Keeffe, but anyway, we are an art therapy channel, correct? Um, mm, I like the lives, the touch ups. Um, I don't know if that's a typo, harsh one. The touch ops. Yeah, optics are something that I think we need to talk about with the Kylie Rodney case and with the Idaho 4 and with the Maui. I mean, there's always the optics. And with the whole Kylie Rodney case, there was so much contrived, controlled information from the outset. The whole thing with the necklaces, the three necklaces. And I'm so appreciative of all the work that you've been doing, Mark, all the work that Shan's been doing on the case, and um, Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, the Honey Badger, and Ninja Chihuahua. You know, these are the ones that I try to stay really on top of, and it is a challenge because everybody is pumping stuff out, and I want to do my own material, so it's really hard to find that balance. But yeah, all of the information, it kind of becomes like a crowdsourcing of information that it is nice. I said this yesterday and I didn't want it to be misconstrued. It's nice to get credit where credit is due, but what's more important is that the case moves forward. So I know that sometimes we all might forget to give credit where credit is due, or we hear something, we're not even sure where we heard it because we're watching so much different channels. Like if we only watched one channel, then we would know exactly where we heard it. But who does that? I know a few people, but probably very few. Um, it's great to share ideas. It's great as a creator, as a content creator. I don't want to plagiarize anybody. I really want to mention the place where I picked something up, but there is there's definitely times where I can't remember where I got it, or it just kind of seems like I got it out of the air. It's just kind of in the air, like, you know, several I heard maybe heard it in more than one place. But the thing that I was getting to is the thing with Kylie's necklaces. And I think it was Mark and or Shan who'd been pointing out the last few days that, you know, they made such a big deal about the three necklaces. And then in the autopsy report, there's only two, and they don't bother, you know, trying to explain that away, trying to mansplain that. And, you know, the whole thing with the necklaces was weird from the outset. It sort of ring of like a boxing match and somebody tearing the necklace off of the person that they beat and holding it up as their trophy and doing the King Kong and beating their chest, you know, which that's King Kong beating their chest. Isn't that something that some of these boys like Cody Milne may or may not have been doing on top of their cars around the time of the last ping? I mean, these people, these freaking you know, Lord of the Flies party, like that says it all. And we can thank Sammy and Kate because I'm still 100% convinced that Kate said that too. We can thank them for being so graphic and saying that because they gave a lot away. Like yesterday, I mentioned Holly Bobo's case, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with that case. It's absolutely dreadful. I put a link in yesterday's description to, I think it was a Crime Network special on the Holly Bobo case. Um, an awful, awful, awful case. And it wasn't until I rewatched that special last night and then I realized, oh crap, Holly Bobo's case and Kylie Rodney's case are extremely similar. And I want to get into that with you guys. It's tragic, it's disgusting. I honestly didn't realize it until I was reviewing that special on Holly Bobo's case because it had been a while and I wasn't, you know, sure if I was remembering things accurately. Um, she was 20. I said 21, so I was wrong. It's like I make mistakes. I'm okay with that. I hope you guys are okay with that too. I try to be as accurate as possible. I'm amazed at my memory sometimes that I do remember things, and sometimes it amazes me when I can't remember something that I feel like I would or should. Um, Anyway, I want to talk about how similar those cases are real quick, but I also don't want to get falling behind. Is that what makes the live chat replay not show up? The live chat replay, I don't know. I'm not going to scroll back because that messes me up. And the the live chat replay usually takes like a day before it's on there. And I I assume that that's because YouTube wants to scrutinize it, make sure there's like not curse words or something. I don't know. But sometimes it's slower and sometimes it's quicker, so I don't know. And it's hard for me to figure out YouTube because honestly, sometimes I don't think they can figure out themselves. And I'm just saying that kind of flippantly. I'm not really saying that as a criticism because, we're all making it up as we go along, even if we have a thing like YouTube, right, Mark? You worked for them, right? They change stuff all the freaking time. Like Facebook is always changing stuff. And, even our cell phones are constantly updating the new and improved. And, a lot of us wish that they would just leave it alone. You do great, Justice. We all want truth for Kylie. Well, thank you. That's really all that matters to me is the truth. Like if I make a fool of myself, I'm okay with that. Honestly, I am. If it's helping to get to the truth, absolutely fine by me. I realized that a long time ago that it was more important to me to get to truth and justice than it was to save face. I mean, absolutely. That's otherwise I probably wouldn't put myself on YouTube, right? Because you're going to become a target. I saw a story of two young girls taken from Georgia yesterday, but JLR was the YouTube content creator, and I'm trying to look up info for us to share this one. They put in danger Amber Alerts for them yesterday. Oh, I haven't heard about that. So Holly Bobo, I brought it up kind of without planning on it yesterday because her mother lied about her age. She said that she was 17 to get an Amber Alert because her mother just knew instantly that things were bad. If you don't know the story, a quick recap is that she was kidnapped from her family's home out in the sticks in Tennessee, and it was early in the morning, like before 8 o'clock, and she was a nursing student. So her mother was a teacher. She'd left for work and saw Holly sitting at the kitchen table eating her breakfast and studying for a test. And then her brother was kind of waking up when he heard her scream outside. And he looked out his window and he saw her going into the woods with a man dressed in camo. And he thought it was her boyfriend. And the mother knew that it wasn't the boyfriend because she knew that the boyfriend was like duck hunting or something, that he was out of town. And a neighbor, bless this neighbor, who heard the scream and called the school that the mom worked at. This is a really, really, really tiny town and it's pretty spread out and rural. So I'm surprised that there was a neighbor who could hear the scream that they said made the hair on the back of their neck stand up. They called the school and the school staff went and found Holly's mom and told her, this neighbor called, said they heard a scream. They're really concerned. And her mother instantly kind of went into a panic, went to the school phone, called the son, back and forth. Anyway, when she called 911, they said we can't do anything unless she's a minor. So her mom said, well, she's a minor. And I think she got in a little bit of trouble because she lied about her age. She said she was 17 when she was 20. But I was contrasting that with Kylie Rodney's mom, who seems like she was fine with them not doing an Amber Alert, which never made any sense in the Kylie Rodney case because usually when an Amber Alert isn't done, they'll say, well, there's no vehicle involved, and you have to have a vehicle involved to have a license plate to then do an Amber Alert, which there's always rules are there for a reason, but rules are flexible. So depending on the gravity of the situation, like if you have a person that needs their medication or, that's compromised in some other way, those people get Amber Alerts. Like with elderly people, I think they call it a silver alert. But they have alerts for people who aren't minors and aren't elderly when they're more vulnerable. And Kylie was 16. She wasn't even 17 yet. And, 18, I guess, would be the cutoff for a minor. But again, law enforcement gets to do whatever law enforcement wants to do. So if somebody's 19, they can go ahead and do an Amber Alert if they want. That would be very unusual. And they can do an Amber Alert when there's not a car involved with a license plate, which is also unusual. But here we had a minor and we had a car involved with a license plate, a creepy license plate at that. I mean, you guys all remember that the numbers and the letters were basically, I ate your soul. Like, that was mind-boggling. Like, you can Google it. You can Google that license plate, and that's what Google will tell you. Again, you know, all those jokes I was making yesterday about Googling, like, how to pretend that you've been a substitute teacher for a year on your YouTube channel. Google doesn't always take you down the right path, but it often can like clue you in. It's good to know something about what you're looking for because sometimes Google is in left field. So, um, let's see. I saw a story of two young girls. Okay, I read that one. That was the one that I highlighted. Oh, wow. I don't know, Harsh. Right, Mark. I said that how the dogs get to scent, and then Trinity went to the end of the driveway, and I said she was picked up, in my opinion, truth for Kylie, truth for them all. Yeah, Harsh, I agree. I think Trinity was picked up too because dogs are the truth. Like, that's hard evidence. It's amazing how that is the most useful evidence in cases. Um, and again, I think that the lack of evidence is evidence itself. Um, so I think it was you, Mark, that said something recently in one of your videos or one of your posts that, you can't always read the lack of evidence as evidence. Absolutely, I agree with that, but sometimes the lack of evidence is evidence. Like in the Kylie Rodney case, the lack of the chronology of the timeline of exactly where she was. Like we have we would have her cell phone records. Like, where's her freaking cell phone records? Where's the story? If you're not going to compare it to electronic data like that, where's the story? Where did she sleep the night before? We don't even know that because very likely something happened prior to that night. And that's why it's all a blur. Like, that's crazy and bizarre. When the police are trying to get the public's help, the police need to provide the public with as much detail as possible in order to get the help. But they didn't want the help, in my opinion. Um, the whole case was weird AF, and it continues to be weird AF. Just all of the stuff coming from MC, all of the stuff that comes still at times from Zanime or Anime, however you say her weird name. And SF investigates. I mean, like, why these people even have a hand in it is really good evidence right there. So we can thank them for doing that because they give themselves away. Um, let's see. Okay, I thought I knew it would come back, but it's weird. YouTube changes too much lately. Yeah, I know it's annoying, isn't it? And yeah, sometimes I've noticed that the chat is there like much quicker than I ever thought it would be. So if you're looking for the chat from, let's see, today's Tuesday, so it wasn't yesterday. I think it was the second video that I did on Friday where somebody asked me who, and I typed in something because I thought that was a good way to put the information out without blasting somebody. And I don't want to blast anybody, especially because that was what my thing was that I was talking about yesterday was being blasted on YouTube by another content creator a year ago. And it was so nerve wracking. And it wasn't until this past weekend, Sunday night to be exact, that I watched her blasting me. And I'm so glad that I did because it was entertaining. And I felt very much like I still stand by everything that I said that she was blasting me for. And essentially, she was blasting me for um, being suspicious of Lindsay and Scammy. Okay, well, you're free to not think that they're suspicious and to think that I'm a bad person for thinking that they are, but why are you using up 15 minutes of my content as your content? Like, don't you have enough of your own ideas? Anyway, I'm happy to share with people who it is. Like I said, I just don't want to blast the person because that's exactly what I'm talking about. So if you email me, I will email you the information, or you can look at the very last chat, one word, on Friday. What's today, the 17th? So that was Friday the 13th. I did 2 videos that day. So I think it's the very last thing in chat, if you're interested. And like I said, the content creator has it coming because they're the one that did that. And it's really the pot calling the kettle black. It's like the content creator that recently basically accused Ara of being like part of the Truckee Mafia. Like, of all the content creators, not even close. But it makes me wonder if that content creator isn't exactly what they're accusing somebody of. Because in my experience, that is what dirtbags do. That is what corrupt MFs do. Is they do all kinds of crazy crap and then they accuse other people of doing the same thing. And that's where they got the idea. Because, like, why? How could you even come up with this stuff? Like, who on earth would ever think that you could, like, Google how to make yourself sound like a professional something on YouTube by Googling? But I was pretty sure the first time I saw this channel a year ago when my viewers told me about it and I went to it, and I immediately thought, like, this person isn't what they say they are. Like, they're a complete phony. And I didn't watch it because I didn't want to experience the pain of being, um, just chewed up and spit out like that. But I toughened my skin this last year. I decided that it was time. And like I said, I'm really glad that I did. And I appreciate people for pointing me in that direction, even when I decided not to go that direction last year when it happened. I'm glad that I waited a year. And it was because of the situation with Ara that I went ahead and peeked at it. But like I said, I want to be very careful not talking about any other content creators unless I'm saying great things. And I always say great things about Ara because she's so genuine and so kind and caring. Um, yes, I did in GEO Google Earth payments. Um, right. Google Earth and payments. Okay, right. I follow Mark. So yeah, you worked for YouTube, you worked for um, Google Earth to be specific, and you worked with payments too. Remember Google Plus OLL? I kind of don't because, I kind of stayed away from electronics until I got my YouTube channel. I mean, I've always used them, but just kind of kept them at an arm's distance just because I know myself and I know that I'll fall into, being attached to the computer screen the way so many people are. The mom is one of those ones who took the girls and she has a M manufacturing and the vehicle was put out. Oh my goodness. The mom, you're talking about Georgia. The mom is one of the ones who took the girls and she has an M manufacturing and the vehicle was put out. So, so she stole these girls. The biological mother, ran off with the girls. I mean, most abductions are done by a non-custodial parent, right? So are they sisters or are they friends? Lindsay, what did you do? Why did you leave the lodge? Yes, Mark. Um, Dogs are honest. I know animals are honest. And you know who else is honest? This is why so many people love children because children are honest. Like, sure, they lie sometimes, but you can usually tell pretty easy when they do. But they're basically not going to put on a show. They're basically just going to be themselves and be real and be authentic. And, when you're dealing with so much gobbledygook and mucky muck in the world, it can be very refreshing to just deal with kids and animals when you're surrounded by lying liars. After I worked in the courts for a while and had such a horrible experience there and had to file a lawsuit against the King County Superior Court, I had never wanted to work with kids because I had worked with them in a psychiatric facility as part of my internship in graduate school. It's not that I didn't like kids, it's that it broke my heart, just kind of like how I don't like to talk about children on my channel. And I'd get so angry at the adults around them. It wasn't the kid that had the problem, the kid was a product of the problem. But after my experience in the courts, I went straight to working at Seattle Children's Home where all my clients were kids. But it is complicated when your clients are underage, then you have to deal with their parents. You have to deal with case managers or teachers or principals of the school. I mean, each single client usually has like four people attached to them. So one client is more like five clients, basically. It's just more of a workload. Lack of evidence does mean you can prove anything is what is meant. No foul play is not an accident. It could be something you did not check for. So you brought up a point that I really wanted to make sure that I discussed today. So let me talk about it right now before I forget, which is yesterday I was kind of grappling with a potential theory, like a hodgepodge of different things that people have put out there over the last year, and I almost wanted to take it back because this is the last thing I want to do. I don't want to insert reasonable doubt anywhere. I don't want to give a possible criminal defendant a possible idea of reasonable doubt, basically. So I feel like it's important to address this and to say for all of us that when we are trying the guessing game of trying to figure out what happened to Ms. Kylie, to try to stay on the straight and narrow so that we're not putting out ideas for the criminals to run with, basically. So maybe it's good that I said it so that I could say all that. Like, really, you don't want to give these crooks ideas to run with because they will. They're desperate, you know? They'll be like, yeah, yeah, that's what happened. It was all a big accident. That's all. It was just a big accident. I mean, we know that they're trying to say it was a car accident. We know that it wasn't a car accident, but they could say that, yeah, we were just up to no good. We were doing all this horrible stuff. We didn't mean to unalive her. It's like, in physical abusive situations, whether it's domestic violence with a spouse or with a child, most of the time that it's fatal, it wasn't intended to be fatal. It's just that when you're an abusive MF, you're an abusive MF and you have no control over yourself. And things happen, or maybe you hit somebody and you didn't expect your ring to, like, hit that magic spot on their forehead that made them instantaneously expire, or that they fell and hit a brick or something. I mean, you can't plan for some of these things, but that doesn't make you any less culpable and horrible, right? So I don't care if it was accidental and these people were doing horrible things to Ms. Kylie, which is why I brought up the Holly Bobo case, because she was kidnapped from her home to be SA'd and then unalived. And then she wasn't completely unalived when they thought she was, and they happened to have a firearm on their person, and they pulled it out and used it because they were so freaked out that she um, the thing that they thought was expired wasn't. And so when they made that choice in the heat of the moment, and I want to add, it's a lot harder to expire another person than a lot of people realize. So yeah, it can happen accidentally quickly, or it can be that you try and you try and you try again and you think you've accomplished it and you haven't still. So, um, anyway, when they shot Holly, that noise traveled because they were under like a road, like a bridge, cement, and on a river. And so the echo of the shot made it sound like there were three shots. And that was part of what helped them piece the story together. But it took years to piece that story together. It was very, very tragic. And it's fantastic that the family got the answers in the end. It's fantastic that the truth came out. But it's horrible what happened to her. But I'm thinking that it's quite feasible that that's exactly what might have happened to Ms. Kylie Rodney, that she might have been taken for the same purpose of what Holly Bobo was taken for. That whole thing with that channel, the dreamy, creepy one, whose name is worse than Beetlejuice, so we definitely don't want to say it, that he still has his channel. And he said the most disgusting things imaginable that should not only get him taken off of social media forever, should literally get him put into prison. I mean, you can't go around saying those things. And he said those things in his chat 6 weeks before Kylie Rodney disappeared. And then he just happens to be the one interviewing the Scammy the Snake. Gross, gross, gross. But like I said, it's very much a possibility that Kylie Rodney was abducted for the same intent that Holly Bobo was abducted for. It's possible. Let's see. And I'm skimming through to catch up. Hey, Paper Songs and Allie. Hello, CB. Can you at least confirm or deny tow truck driver's story or the fire cam? Like, come on. CB, it sounds like you were watching Shan's live last night too. Cause yeah, that was a really good point that her and Romeo made, that those things not being confirmed or denied, to me, denies them. To me, that's saying that they're piles, that they're just crocs, piles of doo doo, crocs of doo doo. Because we're 12 months out. I mean, we're 13, 14 months out. Come on. You can confirm or deny the tow truck driver's story or the fire cam. I never bought into the fire cam thing. I totally fell for the tow truck story, hook, line, and sinker for a very long time. It was only maybe like roughly 2 months ago that I really kind of decided that that thing is ridiculous. There's a good story. The guy's a good storyteller. I'll give him that. He's a good actor. Um, and yeah, he definitely like had that honest face too, which you can't judge a book by its cover, right? But that fire cam, I never bought any of it because I was just like, I was on to the whole fire cam thing the minute this whole case unfolded, because I was like, where's the fire cam footage? And then the way it was presented and the way they acted like they didn't know what that was until a month into it. And then freaking Megan and SF and all that, and that content creator who did the overlay and da 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 da, and not to mention it being sent to all these different content creators with a virus. One of those content creators is somebody that I'm pretty tight with. And so I know what happened for that one content creator. It was bad. It was really, really bad. Why call tow truck guy at all? These kids know cars. They have to prepare for all the snow time and have their 4x4 and mods. Mark, you are really smart, Mr. Mark. You are 100% on it. And again, we get so bamboozled and so easily gaslit that, yeah, these kids are all set to survive, to be like on that show Survivor and to be the winner, because you're living in the Sierra Nevada mountaintops. You're living in an area where there's avalanches every year. There's holes, like you can fall through the snow at any second. Um, there's a lot that these people that live there have to look out for, which is why not that many people live there. People go there to vacation and ski and try to have fun. Not everybody comes back alive, right? Some people come back gravely injured, some people don't come back. Um, every year there's fatalities in ski accidents and avalanches and that type of thing up there. I mean, it just goes with the territory. But not that many people live there because it's a hard way to live. I mean, look what happened to the Donner Party, and I'm being completely serious. I was in her chat and had to say that I was not right now. I lost a sub. I'd rather not have the sub and stand for what I believe. Truth for Kylie. Um, yeah, I don't know which chat you're speaking of, but yeah, I'm the same way. I would rather not have the sub if it's somebody who's going to be abusive towards me, like the one yesterday that I just deleted their comments because I was like, I can't put my energy into that. Like, if you want to be twisted, there's nothing I can do to help you. And if I change my show to be exactly the way you want it, that wouldn't fix nothing at all, period. Zilch. Let's see. I am now a doctor. It looked it up on Google and chat. Oh, Mark, I love you. You are awesome. Yeah, that is hilarious. I know. Well, that was the thing with trying to convince you guys that I was a substitute teacher for a whole year. And I wasn't. I didn't last the whole year because it was just a whole lot of crazy. But, I Googled all that. So, yeah. I'm glad that I did it because it gave me such an appreciation for all of the people that teach. And like I said, I have people in my family that teach, but I had no idea how flippin' hard it is. Like, I mean, you just love these kids so much and you just want to like pour out your heart and soul to them, and they will take you for everything you have and then some. So, people who do that for a career, hats off, definitely. And I'm glad that I got out of it as quickly as I did because I could have fallen into that for a career. And it's just one of those things. Like, I taught graduate school too back in my fake early days of postgraduate. So, shortly after I got my master's degree, I was teaching at a master's degree level. That's not something I talk about too much because it didn't work for me. I didn't like it. I mean, there were things about it that I loved, but overall, it was a lot of work. It was very draining, and the pay is very little for what you're putting out. And I never understood that when, my professors would complain that they weren't getting paid very well. I'd think, what? You're getting paid thousands of dollars. How could that not be very well? And you know, for every 1 hour of class time that you have, you're probably putting in 10 hours. So whatever it is you think you're making hourly, like divide that by 10. And I mean, for me, that was true anyway. And so, like I said, there were things about it that I enjoyed, but the other thing is that people can be emotional vampires, and you have people like that everywhere. And some of the students in the graduate department that I was teaching, there were a couple that were like major, major emotional vampires. And I just wanted to tell them to screw off. But, I had to do it politely and professionally. Mark Molina, I have said that about the AAA and the way they are also taught to be safe in a blizzard and stuff. So harsh one. I'm so happy that you're so far ahead of the game too. You and Mark way up there. Hey, Sunflower Dragon. I worried about those little girls. Yes, her and her friend took them from Burger King out of Columbus, Georgia. It's crazy. And if that's near Atlanta, I mean, that's a major trafficking area. So I don't know. Whoops does not. Um, let's see. I missed what that and be round dragons. Okay, I'm just gonna keep moving. Blonde, that is so true. The crooks are watching me. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Don't you love that song? What is that? 80s? One of those lovely 80s songs. Um, it's called The Twilight Zone. Who is it? It's not Tommy Two Tone. It's some other cool name of some remote band that we all remember very well, but can't remember. I remember Holly Bobo, but I don't remember the facts, but the name. So Harsh One, I put that link in the description yesterday of like a 40 to 45 minute special on the I think it's True Crime Network. Something like that. Anyway, it's a good a good spotlight on just getting the gist of it. A very, very disgusting, horrible case. But the guy who was charged with being the mastermind of it, um, he was so cocky and he bragged about it. That was one of the ways they were able to nail him. But who else is cocky and brags about things in the Kylie Rodney case? Who is like the definition of smug? Like if you could Google the word smug, her face would show up right there. Right there. Yeah. Mark, now I have to cook some eggs. You made me feel hungry. I'm listening and making my eggs. Well, good. Eggs are good for you. They say so now, anyway. It kind of ebbs and flows. Like there'll be a period of a few years where they say they're very bad for you, and then a period of a few years where they say they're very good for you. And yeah, just you got to do what you need to do. I believe tow truck, as other people think they saw her car at Boca and were disregarded. Yeah, I mean, I don't know for a fact that he's full of it, but I think that he's full of it. So, yeah, I definitely think the car was getting moved all around. You know, there were sightings of it in the woods. There was the sighting of it on Hirschdale Drive. It was potentially hid in some garages of empty condominiums that some house cleaner might have had access to. Just saying. Um, let's see. I tolerate any subs join me. Mark, you're funny. You're so clever. Yeah, you don't want the really bad trolls, but sometimes, sure, you might until you get sick of them, then you can block them. Um, yeah, you guys check out Mark Molina's channel. Like, I can't underscore enough watching that boring makeout scene of Scammy and Kylie's biological mother at slow speed with Mark. I think it's about a 30-minute video. It's about 7 months old. I almost said 7 minutes. Um, it's really worth the time. Like you will be surprised, I think, from what you see when you watch it in slow motion with Mark. Please, 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 and sub to his channel and make some nice comments. I guess I'll just have to make more content now. Truth for Kylie, and I'm Dr. Mom. LOL. That's what my kids call me. Very cute. Um, how did you guess when I was saying smug, Mark? You win the prize. Ding, ding, ding. Front and center, wasn't she? And just like a freaking ham, just hamming it up. CRVs are popular, and Jägermeister has one. They're a good car. I mean, Hondas make good cars, and SUVs are nice, and smaller SUVs are nice. So a Honda smaller SUV is a very good car. And yeah, right when this case broke, I thought, man, she's 16 and she has a CRV. Like, what kind of rich kid gets a CRV when they're 16? Like, I thought that was a little over the top, personally. And I think I still do feel that way. I don't know. Um, just because hers is newer than mine, too. But I'm not into new cars. I like old cars. I like to not owe money on cars and have a good mechanic. So that's all you need. Let's see. Follow the beat of your own drum. Don't allow anybody to be abusive towards you, right? These are the things that I do as much as I can, but then I like to share with other people when I need to be reminded, basically. So, um, and let's see. I think that's all of those notes. Um, Yeah. Let's see. People saying they saw Kylie's car. How do they know it's Kylie's? Well, the license plate mark. I think, and maybe I'm imagining that, but I think that like when there was the sighting of it on Hirschdale Drive, I think they had the license plate because that was put out there. So, yeah. The thing about the necklaces, I know that you spoke about that recently, Mark, and I know that Shan has spoken about that, but just that was so bizarre how Angela was instructing everybody to look for her necklaces. Like it was almost like they were skipping over the looking for her, like they knew she wasn't going to be found. But you might find her necklaces and you might find her bumper. Like, wasn't it Sammy who put that out there? Like, kind of like looking for her bumper. Like, it was a really weird, abstract thing. Does anybody remember? They don't, but probably was hers because it's hard to believe it was in the lake that whole time. Yeah, I honestly don't think it could have been in the lake that whole time because I think that many people would have seen it, not just the professionals that were out there searching for it, that then, were more ready to say that they were complete numbskulls and couldn't see what was right in front of them than they were going to confess the truth. And you guys, I have seen that in real life. I have seen professionals do exactly that. Like they'll say anything to not rock the boat and to help with the cover up because snitches get stitches. Like that's not going to do you any good to be the one that calls it out and says, "Oh no, that's not possible." You would think that those with integrity would do that, but so often they're too fearful to do that. So, I've said this before that there's whistleblower laws that are in place to protect whistleblowers from retaliation, but they only have those laws because those laws are needed, and those laws don't really have any teeth. So it's pretty tragic. Like, there's not really any protection for a whistleblower, because you might just off yourself, right? Like that one that I've been talking about lately, Carley Smith in Idaho, in Bonner County. Um, she filed grievances against her supervisors and then she was investigated for the embezzlement and then she overreacted and offed herself allegedly according to um, according to the authorities in Bonner County. And I'm telling you, that state of Idaho is just the most bizarre state that I've ever looked at. um, yeah, I'm very concerned about that, and I'm going to keep looking into it. So, um, let's see. I said SS out loud, but I'm cooking my eggs, Mark. We got an older Chevy truck for our youngest, and then she bought her own car. And months later, we drive both trucks now at 16. Ours, she did it. Yeah, I mean, it's so great to allow your kids to earn their own money and buy their own vehicle, and then they appreciate it and they take really good care of it too. And it's like clothes. It's like, kids want a car that's going to represent them. Like they don't want a Buick or, a Volvo station wagon. Like I might like a Volvo station wagon, but I'm sure none of my kids would want one. I like to drive my minivan, but my kids don't want to be seen driving that thing. And I don't blame them. I used to be the same way. Until I got middle-aged and quit caring. Actually, literally, it was until I actually got one and realized how much I had shortchanged myself by delaying it for so long, because minivans are the bomb. Absolutely. Don't shortchange yourself, people. Drive a minivan. If you have kids, if you have cargo, if you have people and stuff, they're the best. Anyway, on with the show. Um, it is confirmed they had the plate number, CB Good Points, not fighting. So just so many unknowns and questions, more hunches than anything else. So I wanted to talk about the Maui case too, you guys, if we can get ready to switch gears. Fear is a liar. God has you. I love that, Mark. I've never heard that. Did you make that up? Or have I just never heard it? Yep, not fighting, just reminding everyone that some locals searching were completely disregarded. CB, is that a fact? Still miss and stopped. Clearly they know more and lies. Yeah. Um, so the thing with Maui that Fear is a Liar is a song, a Christian song added God Has You. Oh, very cool. I don't know that one. That's a great lyric. Um, so the thing with Maui, you guys, I told you yesterday that the Hawaii Real Estate Channel had released some of the original 911 calls that came in during the Lahaina fires. And then I heard that the night before last, and then yesterday I saw that on a Hawaii news channel, some of the same tapes of those 911 calls, and it's just chilling. But what's even more chilling is that now the authorities are pretending that they sent out this text, and they have the text and they have it time stamped at 4:16, and it's a text that says, hey, evacuate immediately, the place is burning up, and nobody got the text. So why did it take, what, 6 weeks roughly for them to put that out there? All of a sudden now they're saying, oh, here's the text that we sent everybody that nobody got. Unbelievable. But like I said, these corrupt people will, they're panicking. They will do anything they can to save face. They got nothing to lose, because if they are discovered, if they did the corrupt things that it seems like they did, they will go to jail for the rest of their lives, unless they can get off on a technicality, of course, right? But yeah, that text is just chilling, that they're pretending that they texted that to people. Yep, not fighting, just reminding everyone that some locals searching were completely disregarded. CB, that is a fact. Still missing and stopped. Clearly they know more and lies. Okay, I read both of those. And I read the one that I highlighted. Maui time. It's like Hammer time. Maui time. It's so freaking awful. So Brush Junkie dropped a new one too, talking about the historical graveyards of Lahaina, sorry. Um, and just getting more into the rich history of the whole native land. And something she said that really struck me, that I did not know this detail, that there's these native land neighborhoods where you have to prove that you're at least half native to get one of these contracts, where the land contract for the natives is $1 for a 99-year lease on the property, you guys. So that's what I believe people in positions of power were trying to eradicate, the people who were had their birthright, this waterfront property, because there's a lot of that, and they should have that birthright, in my opinion. But to just take that, like, and now they've taken it, and I'm just afraid that it's going to work, and that nobody's going to go to jail, and that these people are going to stay in these positions of power, the governor, the mayor, the police chief, and anybody else who was involved. It's so gross. I love my minivan. We got 500,000 miles on it before it was done, but we put those miles on it. Wow. That's incredible. Maui needs justice. That's messed up. No way. A lawyer got involved. Yeah. Oh, yeah, here it is. Like, really? Let's see. Today's October 17th. The fires were on August 8th. So that's what, 38 days about that it took them to come up with that? Like, wouldn't they have that on day one? Like, yeah, look at the text we sent out. It's right here. Really? That's your story. You're going to pretend that now over a month later. Like, it's mind-boggling the gaslighting that these people will do. And like I said, they could very well get away with it because they are in these positions of authority and power, and they have the ability to abuse their authority and their power. And that's what they've been doing. That's what's been happening for as long as there's been civilization. But now, with so much electronic data, it should help with the transparency. And the people in these positions don't want to give up all that corrupt power that they've been able to wield and yield. So they're going to have to wake up and smell the coffee and see the writing on the wall at some point. But I'm afraid that this might not be that point, and I hope that I'm proven wrong. Please, fingers crossed, prove me wrong. I see, I don't like to be right about some things. Like, that's something I really hope that I'm dead wrong. Absolutely. So yeah, we need to start thinking about wrapping up. It's just an hour and 16 minutes. It's so fun talking with you guys. I love it. Thank you. Um, Thanks a million for being here, and thank you, Mark, for modding. I really appreciate it. Um, I appreciate all of you. I appreciate the lurkers as well. 6 weeks to create the story of a tech sounds like a certain fire camp. CB, I love you for making that analogy. That's perfection right there. That is sheer perfection right there. That is what is scary, the power and the helplessness. Hit that like button on the way out. Wow. Um, Dang. That is just so classic. I kind of want to wrap up right there with that as the last highlighted comment. Yes, right. 6 weeks to create the story of a text. Sounds like a certain fire camp. Um, so yeah, I am gonna say peace out. Have a lovely rest of your afternoon. It is just 12:53 in the afternoon, and it's Tuesday, so hopefully you are off to the beginning of a very productive work week, and you're getting your fresh air and your sunshine and your exercise, your nourishment, your hydration. Pixie Knickers, you're getting your art on, and have a very lovely day. Sending you light and love. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your support. Peace out. Hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already, and we will see you on the flip side. Take care. Have a great day.